Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Geek Banter. This is episode 8, and I'm David Baldwin.
I'm Mark Selby.
In this episode, we are making our predictions for future comic book movies. Mainly Marvel and DC, but I don't know if we have any indie on this list, but we might tangent off to some indie. Avengers Infinity War Part 1 begins production soon on the Marvel side of things, and on DC's side, they're just getting started, with Justice League coming out this year. So where do they go in the future? What kinds of crazy characters and stories could they explore? Could we see the glorious reboot of Howard the Duck? Then, I'll talk about my first foray into the universe of Valiant Comics in Indy Love. Finally, we'll wrap up the show with headlines across fandom in the Weekly Geek. If you dig the show, subscribe on YouTube and VidMe, and you'll find that at vid.me/geekbanter to keep up with what's geek this week. We're on Facebook and Tumblr at Geek Banter, and on Twitter at Geek_Banter.
Woo!
Woo! We always have this horrible segue from the intro into the show.
We really do. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's so hard to just... segues, man. Alright, so...
I think that's why... never mind. Anyway. So we have a packed show today. So let's jump right into it. So, yeah. So... Like I said, this episode is about our movie predictions for the future, and before we get into it, I'd like to go into a couple kind of rules that we set for this. One, animated movies don't count. So this comes up a little bit later, but one of the characters is in an animated movie, and basically we're just strictly talking about the big screen, big budget, Marvel and DC universe movies. And then also we're talking about stuff that hasn't been announced. We're just completely spitballing here. So we try to avoid anything that there are, pretty good rumors of, or anything that's been actually announced. So this is all just us kind of spitballing and seeing where they could probably go and what we'd like to see. So, that being said, the first kind of category we were going into here is what characters we could see them doing, not necessarily on their own, but maybe, just showing up in, for example, the first one, Red Hood, which is...
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd. He gets killed by the Joker. He's
not
already
really.
Actually... Well, not really.
No, not really.
Well, doesn't he get... Now, hold on. I thought he gets killed, but in the comics, he comes back because Superboy Prime punches reality so hard that it retcons shit, and he gets brought back to life.
Well, it's kind of like that, except that it's more like... From what I gathered from it, it was Superboy Prime punched reality so hard that he fucking never really fully died. And it was kind of like the Juliet syndrome. Which is why he woke up. And,
okay.
Yeah. So it's, I'm not sure, it's either one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
He either did die or he didn't really die. All I know for sure is that he's been in a Lazarus pit. Yes.
Yeah, that is true. I think across... all of his iterations so far.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Red Hood is the second Robin, Jason Todd, who in the comics in the 80s was murdered by the Joker.
Brutally.
Pretty brutally. He was beaten to death with a crowbar. And it's in a trade called Batman: A Death in the Family. And then years and years later, in 2000... Were we in high school? Was it 2005-ish?
Ish.
They brought him back.
It was towards the end of our high school years. I just remember you guys freaking the fuck out because there was a scene where Joker was just on the ground, beaten to a bloody pulp with a crowbar next to him, and that was Red Hood's first appearance or whatever. And it was it just said they had just revealed it was Jason Todd, and you guys were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting because they brought back. If if I remember right, they brought back Jason Todd and Winter Soldier, Bucky.
About the same time, yeah.
Around the same time. And those were two characters that nobody had brought back yet. They were kind of like the sacred. Now all that's left is Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is like the only comic book character, that anybody knows that is still dead. And if they ever bring him back, I'll never read Spider-Man again. Because fuck that. But they could definitely do Red Hood. He's already shown up. Jason Todd has been referenced. He hasn't shown up. In Batman vs. Superman, there's that Robin costume, and it says, "The joke's on you, Batman, haha."
Yeah.
And I guess there's something that points to actually Harley being the one that actually killed him. I don't remember what that was. But in any case, it could, in the Batman, Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie, so far we know the villain is going to be Deathstroke.
Deathstroke the Terminator. I'm sorry, I gotta sing these awesome names.
But that could be in the next Batman movie, or they could switch it up, and that could be the main plot, and Deathstroke could be training Jason, once he comes back to go after Batman. But I definitely think they'll go for that, because that's one of the more popular...
Dude, Batman Jason Todd is so popular. Like, Red Hood is so good.
Yeah, and it was huge in Arkham Knight, Spoilers, in the Arkham Knight game, it's fucking Jason Todd. Like, if you're a Batman fan, you knew where that was going immediately.
Playing the Jason Todd DLC is so hard.
Really?
Yeah, but it's so much fun. He's so snarky.
See, does it kind of redeem him? Because I don't know about you, but he was really annoying in the game to me.
He was annoying in the game, but in the DLC, you're just like, yes, this is badass, because it's all, for his DLC, it's all, him taking down, what's his name? Black
Mask?
Yeah, Black Mask's gang and shit.
Nice.
Which is what happens at the beginning of the game, is his gang is getting taken over. That's Jason Todd fucking shit up, and that's what you get to do, and it's fucking awesome, but it's really goddamn hard.
Huh. Okay. I don't have that DLC, so I haven't really touched Batman or Arkham Knight in a while. Anyway, speaking of Black Mask, that's he's a villain that I don't think they'll ever do, at least as a main. He could be like a side villain in a movie. Black Mask.
Oh, yeah.
He's just not popular enough mainstream for people to really care. And he would just come off as a gangster, as a,
Speaking of people who aren't very mainstream, that I love, and I would like to see a character show up as a character in a movie, is Moon Knight.
Yes, absolutely.
The original Moon Knight, kinda Very dealt with a cult, but he was kind of like, for justice, aha. But they brought him back all edgy, and it was like a redemption arc. Yeah. And it's brutal as fuck. He doesn't give a shit anymore. If you fucking...
Isn't he schizophrenic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucking kills people, he doesn't give a shit. And I totally, ever since Deadpool, I'm just like, okay, well, they could do a Moon Knight movie. It probably wouldn't do very well just because no one knows the character. But it would be pretty fucking rad. Personally.
It would be rad.
Marvel, just do me
this
this
is
favor.
One guy that... Yeah, this is one guy that I don't see him, having his solo movie.
I can see him showing up, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be an interesting one because isn't he an ex-soldier as well?
Yeah.
He could be kind of controversial.
Oh, absolutely. He's a mercenary, I believe. He has a whole bunch of military training, then he became a mercenary, and they killed his whole fucking squad.
Yeah. But I could see them doing Moon Knight, because of Deadpool. Again, this is another thing like Wolverine or Logan that, now...
It's open.
It's more open.
Yeah. Open to possibility.
We didn't really talk about who could play Red Hood, but who do you think could play Moon Knight? I'm sure he could be played by...
that's a good fucking question. This was not something I was prepared for. So,
what about...
I would automatically say Tom Hardy could play him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well...
Then again, he was Bane, and I don't know if that might throw people off.
Well, yeah, not a lot of people walk both worlds, you know.
Yeah.
But what about... God, I can't think of his name. Robbie Amell, Stephen Amell's brother. He was the dude in that little short movie I showed you. With the he people had powers and...
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, totally. Because you need somebody who's really athletic. Looks like he could be ex-soldier. Brown hair. I think he would match that completely. So then, I guess let's move on to the next guy here. So this was another one of your recommendations, but
Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think? Sorry, I'll let you go ahead.
Well, I was talking in reference to Jamie Reyes, the new Blue Beetle. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've been meaning to let you borrow my Blue Beetle because it's really fucking good.
I've heard that.
But I said in the show notes, not Ted, and then in parentheses, okay, Ted would be pretty good too. I do love me some Ted Cord. But Jamie,
yeah,
we get something from Jamie in the comics that you don't see a lot of, and that's like he disappears for a year because of the 52, 52 event, and he shows up not knowing that any time has passed back home. And years passed and he had no idea. And his family flips the fuck out. And like he just comes clean and tells them exactly what's going on. And they're fully supportive. Like of his powers and what he's doing for the community and everything. They're like totally behind him.
Huh.
Yeah. It was really cool to see like that level of family commitment kind of thing.
Yeah, and support.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say, I would think I could more easily see a Blue Beetle movie or even a TV show for Jamie.
Mainly,
but not me, Ted. I don't think Ted would really.
Not really.
But I could see maybe Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Wouldn't that be so much fun?
Yes.
A little buddy cop movie or something.
But then, DC doesn't seem to want to have that kind of lighthearted humor that, it's not really... Although, TV side, they're doing Powerless now, so maybe...
True.
But...
Blue Beetle with Jamie would be good, too, for, like, TV, because it would... Because he's a teenager. You have a broad market right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
then they would introduce Guy Gardner, because Guy Gardner and Jamie hate each other at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he shows up and Guy Gardner's like, who the fuck do you think you are wearing that suit? And just starts attacking him.
Oh, God. Real quick, speaking of Guy Gardner, I was looking up the Green Lantern Corps movie because that just recently got announced. It's coming out in 2020. And on their IMDb page, it says that all 4 Earth Lanterns will be in it. It'll have Hal, Kyle, John, and Guy.
Guy Gardner.
But it's weird because that's not confirmed anywhere else. The what everybody's been saying is that it's going to be Hal Jordan, and he's already going to be a Green Lantern, and then
they could just show up.
He's going to train. They could show up, but
I don't see
maybe they'll show up at the end.
Yeah, or something.
But it's not going to be like the whole movie. It's basically, they're saying it's going to be like Lethal Weapon in space. But the roles will be kind of reversed. The white guy is going to be the older, I'm too old for this shit guy. And Jon Stewart is the new recruit.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be really, really amazing. And I have high hopes for that because they're going to really want to try hard to redeem Green Lantern.
Yeah. All right, let's move into villains.
Yes. First, looks like we mainly just have Marvel stuff here, but Marvel dominates this side of the movies anyway. So, first, I would like to see, and I could definitely see this happening easily, is Kang the Conqueror in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because after Infinity War, if they continue the Avengers, which the Avengers as we know it, I don't think will continue after Infinity War. It might be a different roster, or they might just not have Avengers anymore at all. But if they need a big villain...
Avengers.
Oh yeah, West Coast Avengers would be cool. But I think Kang would be a great way for them to go, because they could do time travel shenanigans.
Yeah, because Kang is from the future, for those who don't know.
That's always good. Yeah, Kang is actually a descendant of Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And he's insane. He's one of the biggest Avengers villains, just because you can never really defeat him. He's always... because of time travel shenanigans.
Yeah, time travel shenanigans. Yeah. They're just as bad as Doombots.
Yeah. Which I'm sure he has Kang bots as well. I don't actually...
Or Nick Fury's life model decoys.
Yeah, which one came first, by the way? The Doombots or the life model decoys?
Doombots.
Who copied who? Okay.
Well, wait, actually, I don't know. I don't remember when he started using life model decoys.
I vaguely remember Doom getting the idea from the life model decoys.
I think that's right. During like the Books of Latveria little arc that they did, the little 6-mini issue, I think that's when that's how he got it, yeah.
Okay. So another villain that I could I'd be surprised if they didn't do, honestly, is Venom.
Yes. A fucking Venom movie? That shit would be sick.
Yeah. And it makes sense. They could easily bring the symbiote in Infinity War.
Infinity War, yep.
Because Spidey's going to be in it. Somebody accidentally confirmed it, and everybody was like, "Yeah, we know." Like, they had already said that all the Marvel characters would be in it. Yeah. So, and which, by the way, they said at some point there's going to be like 68 or 69 Marvel characters on screen.
Fuck.
Like in costume and shit. So there's going to be some they haven't introduced yet, too.
That's going to be crazy. We're going to have such a busy fucking schedule when that comes out.
Jesus Christ, yeah, oh my god.
Oh, we have to talk about this person. Oh my god, the possibilities it opens up because of this person.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be Easter eggs galore and that shit. But anyway, about Venom.
Venom will be
a couple reasons why I'd be surprised that they don't do this is now that Marvel has control creatively over Spider-Man, they're pretty good at listening to the fans and seeing what the fans want. And so everybody's been clamoring for a Venom movie. Before they fucked it up, everybody wanted it. Right. And after they fucked it up, we want it even more.
Yeah.
So that it could be done right.
I don't want
and
fucking Topher or Grace or who as Venom. No, thank you.
That's so
and
stupid.
You gotta fucking say we. Venom refers to itself as we.
Yep.
God damn it.
And then, I mean, I don't see it being out of the realm of possibility for them to introduce Carnage. And that could probably be how the Venom movie goes, is Venom's enemy is Carnage.
Oh my god. David, Jesus Christ, you just blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this golden age of superhero movies, man. Fucking anything is... like, nothing's off the table.
Now I just want to see a fucking Maximum Carnage movie.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. And that would do so well, I think. I think that would be huge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, real quick, before we get on to, because our next thing is events here. One thing I wanted to bring up with DC, as far as the villains go, I don't have any specific predictions there, but I think they're going to, DC is going to try to further their villain thing that they're doing. They're actually giving villains their own movies.
Because we were talking a little bit about that last podcast.
Yeah, with Black Adam.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, that's a whole other avenue they could go down, especially on the DC side.
Yeah. There are
so
a lot
I don't know if
of villains.
Marvel will really continue. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're kind of villains, but they're not. They're just kind of outlaws and misfits.
Mm-hmm.
What if they did a Sinister Six movie? I don't know how they would do that. Or maybe what if they did Identity Disc?
Dude, let's not bring up Identity Disc. That'd be nice,
okay, all right.
But let's not go that direction.
Okay, so then the last area of predictions we have here is what events we think they might end up doing in the vein of cosmic stuff, because Marvel is definitely going down that route.
Yeah, they are,
and DC is building towards Darkseid too. So on the Marvel side, they could do Annihilation.
Yeah,
possibly.
That'd be crazy. There's so much that happened during that.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. The only problem I see with that is that there's the rights issues, because I don't know who owns Annihilus, and I guess that would be on the Fantastic Four side.
Right.
And then there's also Silver Surfer, who Marvel doesn't have access to.
Right. Which is something they need to
really
fix
sad.
If they're going to continue the way they're going with Avengers.
Why?
Because, well, I mean, if they continue to... Thanos, he's a fucking huge part of the fight against Thanos.
Yeah, but they're going to have to just not have him there. They can't use Silver Surfer. Which sucks, man.
Oh, well, that sucks. I just guess I won't watch that movie. It won't be right.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be exactly like the goddamn
I don't expect it to be exactly like the goddamn comic, but leaving a major part of the comic out of it bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. They need to they need to try to get the Fantastic Four property.
Yeah, very badly.
So they can do... And if they did, since we're talking about predictions, if they did, the smart thing to do would be to do the Fantastic Four movie and not have Doom in it at all until like the end, or maybe mention Victor Von Doom, but he's not the villain. Do somebody else, and then you do a Doom movie just for Doom, nobody else. Talk about him taking over Latveria, his origin story, how he makes a deal with the devil, and all that shit. And then you come back to Fantastic Four 2, and he's the villain. That would be epic.
So the first Fantastic Four villain would be...
I don't know. I mean, they could do Annihilus. They could do...
Super Skrull.
Ooh. Yeah, bring in the fucking Skrulls, man.
Right? Get rid of these fucking...
We need Skrulls. Fucking...
I want the goddamn Skrulls.
Yeah.
And then I had an event, kind of. It's an event. It's comic series that I would say is event as well. There's a duo comic series by Boom Comics that I really, really enjoyed. And that was the Irredeemable / Incorruptible series.
Yep.
I don't know how they would do it. It would be... Because they'd have to... It's two storylines that go along with each other at the same time. But they're... Because Irredeemable starts a little bit before Incorruptible, but they mesh.
Oh, dude, what would be really sick, and it could be a whole... They could really do something. I don't know if anybody's done it, but what if they film them at the same time and everything, and then they just release them at the same time?
See, that's what I thought too, but I was like, that might hurt their sales would be fucked. Their sales have
it would be hard
really
to pull
high
off.
potential.
Really hard to pull off.
Fuck. Yeah, it'd be hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But that'd be fucking badass.
I mean, they could do one. They could do one as a movie and one as a TV show or something.
Yeah.
By
Dude,
the
for
way,
those who don't know.
You should probably...
What?
Yeah, you should probably real quick just explain what Irredeemable and Incorruptible are.
Alright, so Irredeemable is... I forget the name of this Superman-esque figure.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He kind of goes insane. He gets kind of fed up with the entire world. And by kind of, I mean, he decides, I am now the ruler. I dictate what happens, and you will all die as I see fit. And is just being a goddamn menace. So it goes from Superman, basically, this celebrated hero, and just goes fucking apeshit. While on the other hand...
and his team has to try to figure out how to take him down and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be a great movie. Great movie.
On the other hand, there's Incorruptible, which is about a villain named Max Damage, whose ability is, like, the longer he's awake, the stronger and the more indestructible he is. And, like, there's a part where he's just talking about... Because they're like, what happened to you at the very beginning of it? And he's just talking about, I stayed up for 3 days. He stayed up for 3 or 4 days straight, to the point where he couldn't use words anymore because his brain wouldn't function. Just so he could try and fight the Superman guy.
Yeah.
And almost won. I don't want to say almost won, but he fucked him up a little bit. But it was like he was like decided that now he was a villain. Now he's gonna be a good guy, and it's just hilarious. The whole thing is hilarious. He shows up to his hideout, and everyone's like, sweet! And then he's just like, what's up? Take out all this money and throwing it out. We stole this money. We can't have this. We're good guys now. They're like, no, we're not. And he's like, then you can get out. Max Damage was pretty badass.
Yeah, I love that guy. And, I don't know. You're right. Like, I don't know how they would release them both, or have the stories together at the same time. But that's another one that could be really good. So real quick before we move on to Indy Love here, our next segment, we didn't really roll this into our predictions here, but since we talked about Infinity War so much, there's a little bit of news about that. Peter Dinklage was recently cast in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And everybody's been kind of speculating as to what his role is going to be, because they didn't announce it. And for some reason, a lot of people are thinking that it's MODOK.
Because, yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason I've heard, and it's really flimsy, Kevin Smith talked about flimsy. This. Yeah, the writer of Winter Soldier is the writer, or one of the writers, I think, for Infinity War. And he really wanted MODOK for Winter Soldier. He really pushed for it hard, but nobody else would let him do it. They're like, no, that's crazy. We're not doing it. And so they're thinking, because of that, they're like, oh, Peter Dinklage could play MODOK. And I mean, he could, but it would make a shit ton more sense for him to play Pip the Troll in Infinity War.
I felt dumb as fuck when you were like, oh, Peter Dinklage got announced. Guess who he's going to... We know who he's going to play. And I was like, the first thing that popped in my head was Puck from Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you fucking idiot. Fucking Pip the Troll. And I was like, oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, I really don't see why Puck would be anywhere near
I don't
Thanos.
know. I just was like, first character that popped into my head when you were like, Peter Dinklage was like a short, stocky guy, and that's Puck.
Yeah. Is Puck is he a dwarf, or is he just like,
I don't know
really,
if he's a
really
dwarf,
short?
but he is really small.
Yeah.
And bouncy as fuck.
Anyway, enough about... Yeah. But real quick, they some paparazzi apparently just got pictures of Peter Dinklage getting his hair did at a salon in New York, and he got his hair dyed to this kind of bright red.
Oh,
brightish red.
Totally Pip the Troll.
So yeah, it's Pip's hair color and everything. So that's really lending credence to that theory, and it just makes sense story wise, because Pip the Troll was the holder of the space gem.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which in this is the Tesseract. So he's probably going to have some kind of different role, or he might be the guardian of a different gem.
He might become... This might be where he becomes the guardian of the Tesseract at the end of it or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he'll just use it to fucking pop into all the space bars.
Yeah. This thing is Pip is kind of like Tyrion.
Yeah, he's not the greatest guy. He doesn't have like the greatest intentions. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's an asshole who likes to get drunk.
Yeah. He's Tyrion without the brilliance.
Yeah.
Because Tyrion is an asshole who likes to get drunk. All right. So anyway, enough about that. Let's move the show along to our next segment here.
Indy Love.
Indy Love. So I want to talk about Valiant Comics. They are an indie publisher that's really picking up steam. They're pretty huge. They're not like Image or Dark Horse huge, of course, but they're getting up there. And I hadn't read any of their comics up until I was at, we were at Stargazer the other night, and I won this D&D tournament we were in, so I got some short credit. I picked up copies or issues 1 and 2 of Harbinger Renegade, and by Valiant. Crap! I didn't look up the author. Shit.
Oh,
but
my God!
This isn't Valiant, and it's really cool. It's about this group of, they're called Psiots, which is the superhero nomenclature for Valiant. I suppose. I guess there's other. I haven't read anything else from Valiant, so I'm kind of.
Oh, Davey. Valiant's been around a while.
I know.
And one of my favorite series by Valiant is Exo Manowar.
Yeah.
So good.
I read at work, somebody donated some stuff that came out of a loot box, a loot crate. And one of them had a Loot Crate exclusive. It was 4001 AD, issue number 1, by Valiant Comics. And that was really good. It's set in the year 4001, and fucking, like, New Japan is floating above Earth. And it's all run by this super AI computer called Father. And this terrorist, realizes that Father is basically making all of mankind's decisions and shit and running everything. And so they upload this virus, and Father decides to start jettisoning parts of New Japan to the Earth and killing millions of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's really
Sounds
interesting.
Rad.
His son is one of their characters. He's been around Valiant for a while, I guess. His name is Ray, and he's half human, half like computer AI or something. It's really
interesting.
Yeah.
Did you get that guy's name?
No, I'm actually on their website right now, and it has a synopsis and stuff, but I don't see a fucking name. But here we go. So the writer is Rafer Roberts. God damn it.
You always got a flub somewhere.
Yeah. The artist is Derek Robertson, which he's the artist of Transmet.
Oh,
Transmetropolitan,
okay.
I believe.
I can dig it.
Yeah. And so what Harbinger Renegade is basically this group of Psiots that release this list of potential Psiots that the super corporation has their hands on, and there's this like brilliant guy who has a bunch of powers in the head of this organization, and he's been secretly like manipulating shit around the world, and there's a whole bunch of backstory there, but they basically went up against him, and in so doing, they released this list, and now this list is completely public, and there are people trying to activate these Psiots, because they have Psiots are people with hidden powers that have to actually be activated.
Huh.
either with like psychic intrusion, which the leader of this group can activate with 100% accuracy through like
that's cool
the mind, because he's this super crazy powerful psychic. But there's this group trying to activate psiots and leaving them with brain damage or just straight up killing them. And they're kind of... So now this Harbinger Renegade, this group, they're trying to get back together. And because of their actions, people are now dying. And I noticed that's kind of... seems to be sort of a theme so far with what I've seen of Valiant, my limited research into them, is that the heroes, when they do shit, it seems like bad shit happens on a big scale, and it's like their fault.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of a realistic take on it. Because I think shit like that would happen. People with superpowers would make bad shit fucking happen for all us normal folks, even though they have the best of intentions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Valiant Comics, I'm totally hooked. I'm going to start looking into more of their stuff. It's really interesting, and it's a new take. Not a new take, but it's superheroes without Marvel and DC and stuff.
Yeah.
In a connected universe.
Yeah.
So, now let's move on to the Weekly Geek, which is... We've got a lot of stuff there to talk about as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of shit to talk about. It's a packed show.
So, first up in Weekly Geek, we really got to make intros for these, by the way. I have a couple ideas. So, Weekly Geek.
Just say the name. I'm not doing it.
Guillermo del Toro.
There you go. We always fuck it up somehow. Like every time we ever have to mention him.
I'm sure I fucked it up there somehow. But I don't feel like looking up the correct anything because I'm lazy.
Right.
He did an informal vote on Twitter a couple of days ago, and what it was is he put up a vote and it was just yes or hell yes, and he said, should I have a sit down with Ron Perlman and Mike Mignola about Hellboy 3, and he said if it gets more than 100,000 votes, then I'll make it happen. Not the movie, but at least to sit down talk with them. And it ended with 132,938 votes for hell yes.
Yeah, that's not even counting the yes.
Yeah. Of course, people want this.
Yeah.
And so he is going to move forward with that. All it is they're just going to sit down and talk about the possibility. The problem is Hellboy 2 lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so there's nobody really wanting to finance Hellboy 3. Also, Ron Perlman is getting kind of old.
Yeah, but he wants to do it.
Yeah, he does. He totally does.
He also wants to be Cable.
Yeah. Oh, God, I would love to see him as Cable.
Right? He'd be perfect for Cable.
Yeah. If they don't go... I'm sorry to go on this tangent, but if they don't go with him, I want them to go with the dude from Avatar, the douchebag human guy.
Yeah.
I think his name was Scott.
I don't know.
Lang? No, that's Ant-Man.
Yeah, that's Ant-Man.
Anyway.
I don't know his name. Anyway.
But, so this is good news. They're going to sit down and again, because they've done this before, but maybe this time they'll actually get something done here.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Oh, God. Speaking of Hellboy, dude, John Hurt passed away.
I know.
I just heard about this. He was in Hellboy. He was, I can't remember the character's name, but he was the professor that formed BPRD and found Hellboy. Was Hellboy's impromptu, human dad. He was also that guy played Ollivander.
Yeah, from Harry Potter.
He was the War Doctor from Doctor Who. Yeah, very prolific actor. So, the Grim Reaper continues his rampage, I guess.
I know. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore died just a couple days ago. Like, fuck.
Well, it's because, it's because all these famous, it's a whole generation of famous people that are starting to die off.
I know. I've already had this discussion with several people.
This is bound to happen.
It just sucks, all right? It just fucking sucks. Let me grieve.
And every time another celebrity dies, Keith Richards experiences the quickening.
Jesus Christ.
and just absorbs the souls. No, that's Betty White.
Yeah, that's Betty White. Let's just move on.
So our next headline here from the Weekly Geek: Marvel and Square Enix are teaming up, which holy shit, that's huge news.
So, like, automatically, I was like, Square Enix is like stepping out of their comfort zone. Sick.
Yes. Yeah. But the first thing that they're doing with Marvel is they're working on an Avengers game. Let me bring up the link here. Marvel wants to get into video games. They've already fucking conquered superhero movies. Nobody can touch them. So now, that's going to die off at some point. So they need to get into another avenue, and they're looking at video games. There haven't, other than like the Arkham games, there haven't really been solid superhero video games for a long time.
Well, yeah, for a long time, yeah. I was gonna say, because Ultimate Alliance is fucking badass.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Alliance.
But that is several years old, so I'll give you that. Well, I heard the latest Spider-Man is pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, but that hasn't come out yet. They're well, I mean there was a Spider-Man. I mean, there have been superhero games, but not like no big blockbusters in a long time.
Yeah. Well, this new one looks
like Spider-Man
sick.
2 or
this new one looks awesome. It's like they're talking about
the new Spidey.
This new Avengers game.
Oh, Avengers.
Yeah, they're talking like it'll have content continuing for years.
Really?
Yeah, like they're gonna keep updating it.
Fuck. Okay.
I was like, more. Give me more hype. I need. How much for a ticket for the hype train? Come on.
So it looks like Square Enix isn't actually. I think Square Enix is just like publishing these games. They're actually going to be the Avengers game is going to be developed by Crystal Dynamics.
Okay.
Who they developed the it just says the Tomb Raider series. I don't know if that's the reboot.
That's the reboot, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. So it looks like it's good hands. Those are good games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they fucking are.
I just want to know what kind of gameplay is it going to be? Is it going to be an RPG like Ultimate Alliance?
I think so. I'm thinking that's what they're leaning towards. I know it's going to be a whole original story.
Good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can, they should definitely take some heavy influence from Ultimate Alliance, because there are some things you can do in that are just amazing, like the combos you can do between characters and shit like that. And they managed to make. They didn't, there was no one super OP character, even though they had like the Hulk and Thor.
Right.
And
it was pretty balanced.
I defeated MODOK with Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
Just by herself, because everybody else died. Luke and I were playing it. Everybody else died, and it was just me playing Invisible Woman left. And I just ran around invisible until I could get an opening, run up and hit him real quick, and then I'd run around. And that took me a good half hour. Yeah. All right, so the last piece of news we have here in the Weekly Geek, we just saw this.
While we were getting set up.
Yeah, we were getting set up, and we're like, oh, fuck, we have to add this on. Millie Bobby Brown, who... it sounds like a fucking jazz name.
Right.
She played Eleven in Stranger Things. She has been cast in Godzilla, King of Monsters.
What?
Yeah,
I haven't even been able to read this article yet. But that sounds awesome.
Yeah, dude, she's an amazing actress.
Yeah.
She has a really bright future, and she reminds me a lot of Natalie Portman.
Right? Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Because, Natalie Portman blew everybody away in The Professional when she was a kid. And then, of course, she went on to become Natalie fucking Portman. But what's really interesting about this piece of news is she's the first announced cast member of Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
I hadn't even heard of that title until this article.
Neither had I. Yeah, and they apparently earlier this week they announced that the director of Trick or Treat, Michael Dougherty, is going to direct this new Godzilla.
I've never seen that movie, Trick or Treat.
I've seen parts of it. It's an anthology. It's pretty good.
Oh,
but
okay.
So I have high hopes for this. But this apparently King of Monsters is going to be released March 22nd, 2019.
Right.
And then supposedly that's going to be followed up by Godzilla vs. Kong, which will be released May 29th, 2020. It's weird that they have a date for that already. You just think they just say 2020. But really stoked for Godzilla vs. Kong.
Right? Oh my god.
That's going to be dope.
I wonder who's fighting in King of Monsters. I wonder if it's Ghidorah. I wonder if it's King Ghidorah.
Well, I mean, if they're entitling it King of Monsters, I wonder if it's going to be...
It would probably be King Ghidorah.
Yeah. But no, I was thinking... I mean, yeah, of course, but I was thinking they might have, like, multiple monsters that he fights.
Could be.
Like which Rodan. They could definitely do because they'd have more time now because they don't need to do the introduction and the world building so much. They could just be like, hey, here's Godzilla and he's fighting.
I know. Here's Godzilla. He's being attacked by Rodan and fucking King Ghidorah and Gamera.
Yeah.
Like, alright. That sounds cool. Aliens have just shown up. They just released Mechagodzilla. Go! Yes! I'm down for this.
That would be amazing. God, man, it's crazy. The awesome amount of ridiculously cool movies we're getting right now.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. And I think it all comes down to special effects. And they've really gotten the handle on animating shit and it not looking ridiculous. And like mocap and all that shit. And so it's really like where we can have these Avengers movies and Infinity War and, you know, new King Kong and new Godzilla and stuff because the special effects has come so far.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do shit like that. So, long show tonight, but let's wrap this up as we do every night with a quote. I wanted to read this quote as Nicolas Cage, but I realized that my Nicolas Cage voice isn't very good.
Neither is mine.
Yeah, so I'll just read it. In this day and age, where you have a lot of comic book movies made every day, and most of them are really good boys, it's important to have a couple bad boys out there too. Nicolas Cage.
So lame.
I know. This has been Geek Banter, a production of the Bizarre Network. Until next time, tear down that wall, Mr. Trump.